Lankan, Sammi, I am back. I am back at Nagumbo Beach Hotel. It is September 17, I think. Being on holiday, I don't know. You know, being retired, I don't know what day it is. So hopefully this music does not get me a copyright strike. So we'll see what this does. It's Sri Lankan music. There is a special event going on here, a corporate event. So that's happening over there, but I don't mind. It's a long weekend here in Sri Lanka. It is National Day of Mourning on Monday, and Friday was a government holiday. So it's a long weekend, and today, Saturday, there was a full day maintenance electrical outage at the house. So I said, why don't we just go to the beach and enjoy the beach? So mom and dad are here. Yeah, mom and dad are just having lunch. Everyone say, mom and dad say hi. Mom and dad are having the buffet. I'm in the pool. I already ate. I ate lunch number 1, and I will eat lunch number 2. So lunch number 1 is at 12:30. Lunch number 2 will be at 2:30 because we have the buffet. So we came to Nagumbo Beach, Camelot Beach Hotel at Nagumbo, and it cost the 3 of us pool access and 2 buffets. So we had the breakfast buffet and the lunch buffet, and it cost us 19,000 rupees, which is just under $50 US. Not a bad deal for 3 people to spend a full day. We arrived at 9:30. We're gonna stay till 4:30ish and then go home. The power outage is supposed to be done by 5, but we have the solar power, so we turned everything off, fridges and everything before we left, so that the solar power will still be there when we get back. It shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was my life in Korea. I had a lot of people ask me about my life in Korea, and for my new viewers and new subscribers, I want to say thank you to watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. Wow, the number of people who have subscribed in the last 6 months has just I couldn't even expect this kind of reaction from my Korean videos because there were so many people doing it. Now I'm really the only local expat, I think, doing it. There's a lot of tourists, a lot of vloggers coming and doing Sri Lankan travel videos, but I'm doing life here in Sri Lanka. So I hope you really enjoy it and follow me along for the ride. I appreciate it. And we'll be right back after the branding. So there's the new intro. You guys have commented on that. Thank you again. I do appreciate it. So my life in Korea was really an interesting life. And I just had my friend comment on it. And he was asking, you know, what did I do? Because I posted a video on my Facebook. You click the link below to join me on Facebook and Instagram under Sri Lankan Sammi. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook just to see what I'm doing every day. And he was asking me what my job was in Korea in the club. I was a club host. Now, there's different kinds of club hosts. And I was very lucky. I'm going to be very honest. I was very lucky. I kind of fell into it. So my title was Guest Relations Director. I was a salaried employee and I was executive level. I reported to the general manager and to the owner, but the general manager just let me do what I wanted. I never touched money. And I never got involved in security. But I didn't oversee security, but what I did was I managed the relationship between guests and staff. I was in the middle between the owners and the management. And my role was specifically to help foreign guests have a good time. So overall, anyone who came to the club, my job was to make sure everyone had a good time, whether they were VIP or not. So my job I would stand at the front door of the club and basically if somebody walked by and they looked at me, I said, hey, hi, how's it going? You know, and try to entice them to come in. Now, I wasn't picking, where they call it pickers in Korea, or MDs. MD, I can't forget what that stood for. But anyway, their job is to bring people into the club. I'm more like, you know, do you want to come? If you don't, not a big deal. I wasn't paid by the person, I was paid a salary. And I didn't get a commission on tables or anything like that. So it was purely a salaried job. My job was pure entertainment. So people would come by and they see a foreigner. I'm the only foreigner. And I think at that time I was the only foreigner full-time employee of any club in Korea because of my visa. Now there are party planners, promoters, MDs, and everything like that. But I was the only full-time employee at an executive level. There are owners of clubs that are, you know, foreigner, but I wasn't an owner. I was an employee. I came in, you know, I didn't punch a clock. You know, I had to be there whatever time I really wanted, but usually before we opened, a little while before we opened. I didn't have any real duties. I didn't have to physically do anything like a bartender, like prepping or anything like that, or cleaning. I didn't have to take anything apart. That was all done by the security and the other marketing team. They would set up the front, but I would, you know, oversee that and make sure everything was set up the way I wanted. I even made some suggestions on how to change things so that it would look and function a little bit better. You know, I would liaise with security and, you know, things like that. So people would come to the club and I would greet them and take them downstairs. So the way I did it differently is there was no guest list. If you wanted to come to my club, I would say, call me. I want to make sure you come. You just don't put your name on the list and then I never see you. I want you to call me so that I can get you and take you downstairs. That way I know who came. That way I know how much you spent. And that way I know whether you're an A, B, or C list VIP. And I can host you. I can introduce you around. I can take you to, you know, like make sure that you are where you need to be, the hip hop room or the EDM room, because our club was 2,000 people. It was 2 rooms and a VIP room in the center. You know, I'm not doing booking, which is like introducing a table full of guys to a table full of girls. I never did that. I would introduce friends to friends. So that's how I did it. So I would have people, so I would spend like, so what I would do is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would be emailing people, texting people, Facebooking people, Instagramming people, Kakaoing people, saying, hey, by the way, we have this special event going on. Do you want to come by? And they say, oh yeah, that sounds good. Can I book a table? Sure. Boom. Or just get them on, you know, on my guest list, which is call me when you come. So I have a radio, and if I'm downstairs, I'll come up because there's no guest list. They have to line up in the VIP lineup, and they have to text me. So most of my VIP guests know they have to text me about 5 minutes before they come so that I'm upstairs waiting. Now I have some super VIP guests. Let me take a step back. Most of my guests are female, of course. That's the job. But I do have male VIP guests and my close friends. I had some close friends who would call me all the time. Now, I do have whales, super VIP guests who spend ridiculous money, like thousands of dollars a night. These guys will show up. I will get 30 seconds or 1 minute notice, and I will drop everything for these guys because these guys are also friends of the owner because we're all in the same circle. The owner, I'll tell you the story of how I got into the club a little bit later, but the owner and I know each other. He's also Canadian. So, I mean, I used to be a customer before I was an employee. So, I have this one VIP guest from Dubai. He would call me, I'm on the way. I would have a security guard at the front door, ready to drive his car and park it. He would open the door, keys are in the car, leaves the door open, security guard would go in, I greet him, we go straight in. There's no ID check, Nothing, straight in. Now, my regular guests get an ID check and then they go in. They don't have to line up or anything like that. They just have to get an ID check. Some of my VIP, super VIP guests, straight in. Table is already cleared for them, or space at the bar or wherever they want, right? I already know where they usually want to be, and a bottle is already set up for them because I already know what bottle they want. So that's also part of my job, is to know what these people want. So I'm a concierge, I'm a host, I'm a maitre d', whatever you want to call it. That's what I do. My job is to make sure I know what these guests want and that they're having a good time. I let the bar and the security and the owners know who's coming so that they can take the time to greet them or take care of them. You know, there's things that I need to do to manage the guests. The management is too busy running the club. The owners don't want to be at the front. That was where I fit in. So how did I get this job? Well, so hot. In Canada, I used to work in marketing and promotions back when I was like 16 years old. I worked in clubs and bars all the way through like decades. I worked in radio, I worked in television, I was at Much Music, I was at CFNY, I was at CFTR, I was at Q107, I was at CFNY. I was at all the radio stations, dance music, I was at all the big clubs, and I ended in Canada working at the government nightclub, one of the biggest nightclubs in Canada. Well, the biggest nightclub, 5,000 people. It was ridiculously insane. And I was a VIP host. And then I started my career, and then I got divorced, and then I moved to Korea. And I kind of fell into the club business again because, you know, you do what you know, and what I knew was to hang out at bars and clubs, and I met the right people, and I met one guy and another guy and another guy, and I started hanging out, and when that person left their club, the owners asked if I would, you know, help out in marketing. But that area was more of a university area, and my friends were a little older, so it didn't quite work out. And when a lounge in Itaewon opened up, which is a more centralized club district in downtown Seoul, not the college area, a little bit more upscale, my guests fit in perfectly there. And then when that place shut down, when the owner sold, I moved to the biggest club in Itaewon, B1, because the owner there knew me. I actually was one of the first people inside on opening night. And a few years later, I'm running the place, not running the place, but I'm running the door. I basically decided who gets in and who doesn't. I had that kind of power after a while. I mean, I developed that power. The security trusted me, and the owners trusted me to make sure who to let in and who not to let in. Security liked me there. The staff liked me there. Even today, or before I left Korea, I was getting service, which is like VIP treatment whenever I went out. I have a story. Just before I left, I was on a date with a girl, a lady I met, and we were having dinner in Gangnam, and it was like November 2021. I had been out of the club for, 2 years? Since before COVID. The club got sold 6 months before COVID started, which was, hindsight, amazing sale. The club closed in July 2019, and COVID started 2020. December 2019, COVID started. So just, 6 months before COVID started, the club got sold. I had moved to another venue, and obviously that closed as COVID started, and I never went back to clubbing. But I was out on dinner, and I said, let's go to Itaewon. Now, I have a VIP taxi service, not taxi, but limousine service, so I just call that. They know my number. I say where to pick me up, and they pick us up in a luxury car, take us. So she's already impressed. She thought it was an Uber Black. I said, no, this is a private company. And we get to there, and I had already texted the manager of one of the bars I wanted to go to. And we get there and order a bottle of champagne, and obviously, you know, the manager comes by and says hi, and everyone comes by and says hi. We don't line up to get in. We didn't have a COVID check. We didn't have ID check. And the staff, you know, all bowing and calling me 사장님, which is like, you know, manager. So, you know, she's kind of confused because I didn't tell her about my past. She was from Gangnam. She didn't know about my Itaewon past. And this is when I was living in Gangnam. So she was, you know, impressed or whatever. So I invited two of my female friends to join, and we're hanging out, having a good time, just you know, just enjoying, having drinks and everything like that. But the girls wanted to go somewhere where they could dance. We were more of a lounge. I said, okay, we'll go to another place. So I make a quick text, and we go to the next place. Walking to the other place, which is a 5-minute walk, two people come up to me and, oh, hi Sam, how are you? Where are you going? Are you working anywhere? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just, you know, hanging out, you know, not doing anything. And they say bye. And she's like, who are they? I said, I don't know. I really didn't know. They were former guests who I, you know, kind of lost track of. And I knew one of them casually, and I think I knew who the other one was. But these are people I don't really, you know, hang out with. They're not friends, they're acquaintances. So then we get to the other place. Again, walk right in, past the lineup. Everybody's looking at who we are. There's 4 of us, me and 3 girls. And we get in, and you know, it's midnight, and I'm asking for a table, and he's like, Sam, you know, it's packed. Give me a minute. So 3-4 minutes go by, they clear a table, they kick some people out, and give me one of the best tables that they have in the corner there. Now again, we sit down, everybody, and again, the manager, general manager comes by, says hi. People who I know, who are in the club, come by and say hi. Everybody's like looking, who am I? You know, and it's just because I had been there for 10 years, you know, 12 years. I've been working in the club in Itaewon for 6 years. So of course I'm known to a lot of people, and it's nice to be known. It's nice to be properly taken care of. It's nice to have VIP, but you know, because of my age, that was another thing. Korean is very big on the age. Everybody knew how old I was. Everyone knew that. All the staff are, you know, 20-year-old kids, and that I speak Korean. You know, I'm not just some foreigner who happens to be working here on a student visa or, you know, a tourist visa or whatever. I'm, you know, an adult. And they all knew that I was very close friends with the owners, not just the one owner, all of them. There's 3 of them. So it added prestige to my image. So, and then I created the, you know, the Itaewon Sammi, like I have Sri Lankan Sammi. So I had the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that stuff. So if you guys want to check out some of the scenes from my club life, check out the playlist, Club Life. I think it's in my YouTube. You can check out the playlist, or go back like 3 years and you can see just how much fun that job was. I basically was paid to drink and talk to pretty girls. So now I didn't take advantage of that position at all. I never dated any of my guests. I did end up dating one woman I met for a year, but that was a little bit different. She asked me out, I didn't ask her out. And, but I mean, I'm too busy to date women from the club, because who wants to date me? I'm working on the weekends. I never have time to go out. I'm sleeping during the Saturday and Sunday. And weekdays, I'm working my day job. And, you know, I'm too tired afterwards to go out or do anything on weekdays. So, you know, I enjoyed that job more than anything else in the world. That 6 years was probably the best time ever. I always look forward to socializing and meeting my friends. And the best part was at the end of the night when they're coming out, because at the end of the night I'm standing by the front door to say goodbye to everybody. And they're saying how much fun they had, how great of a time they had. You know, rain or shine, I was living life. So that's how I got into that. That's what my life was like in Korea. Here in Sri Lanka, not so much. More about, you know, just relaxing and working towards the retirement. Sri Lanka, Sammi, is a little more laid back. Everyone's saying, you know, do I want to get back into the clubs? Probably not. Maybe in a supervisory role or a management role, maybe. But the money here in Sri Lanka is not that much. I was offered a position, I think almost a month after I arrived here, running a beach club in Colombo, in downtown, on the beach. Brand new venue in the port city. I was offered a position there, and but it was only going to pay about $500 US a month. But it was full time. Now that is a huge salary here in Sri Lanka. That is a huge salary, but it would have meant that I couldn't do my day job, which is really, you know, I'm making 10 times that amount and working less. And I would have to work really, really hard. And my job was 100% connected to the profits of the company. So, whereas my jobs in Korea were more about image and you know, yeah, more about image. So here it was more tied to revenue. So I didn't really want to get involved in something that would cause me more stress than enjoyment. And when I worked at the club in Korea, let me tell you, the amount of money I got paid for that job, people are just like, you got paid what? To do what? Just ridiculous, you know. And I'm entertaining my friends. It's like having a house party, but with 2,000 people. So people always ask me, how did you get into it? How did you do it? I was very lucky. Could you do it? I think I'm going to say no. I was very, 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 very lucky. You have to be in the right place at the right time and know the right people. It's not something you can, oh, I want to work at this club and I want to do that job. No, that's not going to happen. You got to put in your time. I was lucky. I was lucky that number one, somebody left that position and I took over at the club in Itaewon, the club in Hongdae that my friend left and the owners asked me to come in. So it was just opportunities that opened, and it's not like I went looking for them. They opened and I was offered. Basically, those jobs fell in my lap. So, yeah. Check out those videos. Enjoy them. Click like. Click subscribe. Click the bell icon. Thank you for watching. Sri Lanka Sammi, living life at Negumbo, Camelot Beach Hotel. I'm out.